All right, so this is actually a few hours after I recorded the video about receiving, like, the way I entitled it. It made it seem like the worst answer to prayer I ever received. I was just trying to make a catchy, grabby title, but basically it was like the answer. So I wanted to basically add more context to that video, so call this part two. I literally just took a nap and I ate, took a nap, and it's a few hours later I woke up, and I think I need to make a few points clear and add more context, just to make it easier to process all the things that I said. So first, let's see. So anyway, first is that in the several months that I've been dealing with this question, and I think I found, like, this is literally what I think is the answer. I'm not trying to like lead anyone away from truth. I'm actually trying to find it, and if anyone can beat me to it, I'm welcoming you to do that. I wrote down, like, as articulately as I could in my notes on my phone. I wrote down like the argument, the reasoning, the evidence, and I'm gonna post that in like the comments of this video or maybe the other video or both. But one thing I think I forgot to talk about is the nature of Adam and Eve while they were in the Garden of Eden. And so in the church, well, not just in the church, in the literal scriptures that we believe in, it says that Adam and Eve had an innocence, a childlike innocence, that they would have remained in a state of innocence unless they were to leave the Garden of Eden and acquire knowledge. And we have to assume that part of that innocence was that they had no knowledge of sexual nature, which is something like necessary to propagate humans, which means have sex. And anyway, so it's I've thought about this, read it, and it's literally doctrinal that it's 100% necessary that they eat the fruit of the knowledge of the good and evil. What is it? The tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Tree of with the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil. Whatever it is. That's probably why it's so confusing, is because the name of the freaking thing is anyway. So that was necessary. And what I explained in the last video is that maybe it was necessary, but it actually probably shouldn't have happened as fast as it did. Although we have no timeline really. We don't know how long, how much time transpired in between each event. Anyway, so we have this assumption. It's not an assumption. It's like basically a belief that I've heard my whole life. Even my own parents, other people, other adults in the church have taught me and other children that Eve knew what she was doing when she ate that fruit. As to whether or not that's true, I couldn't say because I'm not her. But what I was mentioning in the other video is that if it's not written in scriptures and it's not like expressly stated, basically, then something like that, an idea, cannot be considered as true. It's just your opinion and your idea. So, anyway, that's my brother Jacob. Anyway, so the assumption that she knew what she was doing is actually proved false by the same chapter that we draw the conclusion of that the fall was a good thing. That same exact chapter has the verse that says that they were in a state of innocence. And so I find it disingenuous, or like kind of like a double-sided thing to be like, yeah, they were innocent, they didn't know what to do, and because they were innocent, they needed to sin, and basically they needed to receive that knowledge through eating the fruit. And it's partly true, partly false. And I think it's just it's not logical to assume that oh yeah, they were innocent, but they knew what they were doing. Like, no, if they had innocence and they had no knowledge, then like they either were children or they were not children. Eve didn't know what she was doing. That's my conclusion, and like I said, it's my conclusion. It's not written in scriptures like what they knew they were doing, or if they didn't or not. Just my, but like based on the other verses that actually say things that are in writing, like, like nothing ever said that Eve knew what she was doing. Okay, so I've cleared that up. Part of this is that let's how do I phrase this? So anyway, so it seems if you read the whole story, and it's not like the whole story is not contained only in one place, it's contained in different places. I'm gonna sit back just so I can relax. Here, I can bring you guys closer to me if you want as I sit back. So if you read the story in the Old Testament, and in the Pearl of Great Price, which is the book of Abraham and Moses, it makes it seem as if Adam and Eve were very regretful after that decision, and rightfully so. They're out of the presence of God. And if Eve knew what she was doing, why would she have any reason to regret? Like, once you make a decision and it's based off of good intentions, you just gotta live with that decision. And you just gotta follow through with it. At least in my book, if I had to write a book about what I believe, I would say that if Eve knew what she was doing, they had no reason to be sad about it. But they were sad, and if I could think, and I have thought about it a lot, what are the good things that came from the fall of Adam and Eve? Honestly, the only good thing I could write down on that list is the birth of Jesus Christ. That is the most glorious and the most amazing thing that has happened in the history of the world. Everything else could have been changed, I think, in my opinion. Obviously, I don't know everything. But in my other video, go back and watch that. I explain like what I think the original plan could have been and how that could have still it still could have, and maybe would have. I'm not God, I can't tell you, but I think if it went a certain way, that we could all still enjoy like the gifts and blessings of the gospel without having to have fallen to the state that we are right now, where we're subject to evil, to temptation. I don't believe that was the plan originally. And anyway, it's due to all this questioning I've done, and now I'm at this conclusion. I think we're in the wrong place, but I think that's why Jesus came to save us. I really doubt that Jesus was made to suffer and to die for all of our sins on purpose, just because like that's how the plan was created. It was like, okay, so we're gonna make a plan where there's gonna be a devil, there's gonna be someone who's gonna literally lose their soul, their existence, and they're gonna perish. They're also gonna lead a lot of other people to do the same thing, and we're gonna have someone that's gonna sacrifice and save everyone. Like, if that's the plan, then I'm gonna be like, whoa, like I'm not intelligent, but if you are intelligent, God, then hopefully you can come up with something better than that. It sounds pretty cynical, but I think it's important that anyone who has an idea is able to express it, regardless of if it's incorrect or correct. But under the condition that whoever expresses it, they do so in the best way they can, and free of criticism until they're done speaking, and then boom. If someone can actually correct their understanding of life, of the situation they're talking about, then they explain to them why they're wrong. And if there's a general consensus met, then the person that presented the idea can back off and say, okay, I was wrong. And that more power to that person, right? I think that's how it should work. But nowadays, it's like you say something wrong, and immediately it's like a personal reflection of you and your personal worth. Like, hey, whoa, like you're a horrible person for saying that. And so people don't speak, and because people don't speak, they have incorrect and false beliefs in their mind that they don't ever reveal, but they live by those things, because like what you believe is what it dictates everything about how you act. So that's my biggest reason for speaking, is to just get it out there. Anyway, I'm pretty I just woke up 5 minutes ago, so I'm pretty sure there's things that I even when I woke up, like I had in my mind to make another video. There's probably things that I wanted to say again and I didn't say, and that's why I'm just gonna post all my notes in the comment section. So go check that out if you want to kind of read through and process and make it all make sense to yourself. And it took me a long time to kind of accept this answer, because I really don't want to go against what has been said by prophets and apostles. That's not my intention. I'm just hoping, oh, that's one more thing, is that there's a scripture, couldn't tell you what it is off the top of my head, 1 Nephi 15 something, and it says that the prophets, like even the prophets of old, erred, that they made mistakes, and there's many references in the Book of Mormon suggesting that there could be errors in the Book of Mormon as well. So what if that this error, as in our understanding of the plan of salvation, it could be something that has been passed down since who knows how long, even before the church was restored to Joseph Smith. It could have been a misunderstanding we've had for a long time. Or it could have been something started by Lehi himself, because he wrote the verse that says that Adam fell that men might be, and men are that they might have joy. A similar sentiment is said in Moses, chapter probably 5, where Eve, she says something, but it's not the same. And so anyway, you know how it works in the scriptures. There's the law of the witnesses. 2 or 3 witnesses, by the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall every word be established. If it's only said one time in scriptures, then it must be out of context. You don't know exactly what they're meaning. And anyway, that's my conclusion right there. Is not to prove my point, but to prove the point that it's a possibility. Nothing will prove my point that I'm making about how the premortal existence happened. Nothing will prove it short of revelation from God stating that was so. So that's how I'm gonna roll. And it's definitely prophesied that there will be more books of scriptures that had already, they exist, that will be revealed, and then more after that. Everything will be revealed in its due time. So hopefully this ages well. Hopefully I'm right for the sake of being right. Hopefully we find the truth. Anyway, I don't need to nap anymore. Maybe it's time to go eat again, but thank you for watching. I hope that clears something up, if anything needed to be cleared up. It's probably a lot more that needs to be cleared up, but that's up to you to find it out and to deal with that with God. And that's it. So I did miss something. I was rewatching the video to see just how it sounded, the audio. So what I was trying to explain at the beginning, and I literally cut my own self off, is that I was not expecting this answer to this this thing to develop the way it did. I couldn't tell you what it was, but I was literally praying about other things, trying to find answers to other things. And that thought of like, what if the council in heaven happened after the fall of Adam and Eve? That entered forcefully into my mind at a time when I was praying about something else. So that was like part of what goes into the video of like things I can't explain. One thing I couldn't explain is like, why did I receive that answer to that prayer instead of like receiving the actual answer I was asking for? And my only answer for that at this point is that God knew I needed it for something. And so anyway, that is it, finally.